Right, here we go. This is the second test match of the SUCOM, whatever I want to call it.
The DLC 4 tournament for Supreme Commander 2 game replays.
At the
I
bottom
somehow
left,
fucked that up real bad, didn't I?
I think at the left-hand side, bottom-hand side, we've got Polarbear, orange, Aeon, with NuclearPizza blue, top right. So if you look at NuclearPizza, he's just sending his ACU to stand there and do nothing, while he queues up 3 maxes. He's just added 1 more with his engineers. He's going to tell his engineers to capture 2 more from the top left and bottom right.
He says, "Why did you have to get UEF Aeon?" Yeah, Aeon is pretty much instant win against Cybern. I should probably not say that every game in a tournament, but it's imbalanced. And if Polarbear plays properly, he pretty much can't lose. Like a 90% win chance. So this should be interesting. Let's see.
Looks like Polarbear's gone for a land factory before he's finished building his mass extractors. He's also got a mass extractor, power generator, and a land factory built off the engineer. He's also doing the same with his ACU as well. And if we go and have a look over what NuclearPizza's doing, he's also got a research centre up, which allows him to research new technologies for land, sea, which is pretty useless on this match, and his ACU.
But what the interesting thing is about Aeon against Cybern is that Cybern have a very weak early game and a very strong late game. And for Aeon, it's the opposite. The early game is very strong and the late game is, well, almost non-existent. So what this means is that Aeon have to pressure Cybern so they don't get too much technology up. Just kill them early, and that's what usually happens. The Aeon kills the Cybern before he gets anything fancy. Like, the Cybern can get something like Megalith or Nanogun up, but if you get a combination of these technologies, much invulnerable to anything Aeon can throw at you. Unfortunately, you never reach that. You either win the game by then, or most of the time you lose. So it seems that Polar is going for pressure opening with 3 land factories. He wants to set NuclearPizza very early, and not going for air because Cybern have the best anti-air in the game, which is the Adapter. NuclearPizza is getting land as well.
If we look at the left top hand side of the map, we've got Polarbear using an
What's happening?
I don't know, one of them two decided to kick out. We've got Polarbear using an engineer to go to the top left hand side to build 5 mexes, which will give him a significant advantage over what NuclearPizza tries to do.
If you can get them up, that is. This is something that almost the only thing that is good about Cybern early game. They have assault bots, which are very fast, so he should be able to harass those 5 maxes on the north if he detects. But the problem is that if he sends units to the top, it will be harder to hold the line against a frontal assault, which Polarbear will inevitably do as a reaction to this harassment.
The NuclearPizza and Polarbear are both going for land factories in the middle, followed by power generators. They both have 2 radars in the middle as well. So if we see the general overall popularity of the map, it's pretty much 50-50 at the moment.
Yeah, Polarbear has 1 more mass extractor, I believe. That engineer starts working. It's on pause now because he wants to stream resources into that max and factory in the middle, but now he has saving up mass and start producing them. Unless, as I said, those 3 harassing loyalists that Pizza kill it. I don't know if he has actually seen, but tanks are catching up, and if he doesn't move those loyalists away, he doesn't. Seems like we have a small engagement.
Polarbear and NuclearPizza going at it with loyalists and Brackmans and Venuses, which is the hover tanks of the Aeon. So NuclearPizza going headfirst into NuclearPizza's base. this is going to be an interesting confrontation. What's going to happen? NuclearPizza is following his ACU to attack Polarbear, followed by the Venezoos, which is attacking the loyalists of NuclearPizza.
You know what's interesting? This fight, NuclearPizza has a few more units, but Polarbear's units are stronger, so Polarbear should be able to win this. He's now starting his PD creep, which means that he's going to keep building PDs closer and closer to NuclearPizza's defensive line. And since the Aeon's PDs have longer range, he will be able to build PDs that will be able to shoot at NuclearPizza's PDs, but NuclearPizza's Cybern PDs will not be able to shoot back. That's pretty much the plan. So the only thing that Pizza can do to defend is brute force his way through to the point defense, which will likely fail, or make MMLs to shoot them from afar. And I think NuclearPizza will have a lot of trouble holding this. What are your thoughts?
Polarbear has just built a second point defense closer to NuclearPizza's base, but NuclearPizza does have a point defense in his shield area of his land factory.
Yeah, but it's not able to shoot back.
Yes, you can see it's not able to shoot back, but it will do considerable damage to the Venezoos that try to attack it. But looks like NuclearPizza is repair the shield on the land factory as well as the point defense.
Polarbear lost a few tanks there. Well, he really didn't have to, but he's making more PDs now, and NuclearPizza is not making MMLs yet, so that he will lose that position. He will lose that factory, that radar. I don't think there's any way he's going to hold that.
Especially with the Polarbear now has got his engineer unpaused at the top left-hand corner. He's built a second mech, so it's now 2 extra mechs to Polarbear than it is to NuclearPizza.
He's got a
is
significant advantage.
His land factory, but the Venezoos are causing considerable damage, and so is the Aeon point defenses.
NuclearPizza doesn't even reclaim his dead structures. It's 4 factories against 2. Polarbear has complete control of the center of the map. He's got a stronger army, and I think this is game. Game over.
It does look like game at the current moment, but NuclearPizza can probably do something else. NuclearPizza is backing out of his ACU.
Oh, he's massing air units in his base now.
Yes, he's building interceptors / bombers of his 3 air factories. So
he will need to stall then. He will need to make a shield in that factory, make a piece in front of it. He could have used the mass from his dead factory and mech. He could have reclaimed that with his AC. That would have gotten him the resource he needed over there.
Polarbear has got the radar upgrade. He doesn't look like he's got a radar upgrade on my view on his land factory, but he's building some more power generators next to his land factory. And he's now got shields built on his tanks, so they're going to be even worse. Polarbear to try and defend.
He's scouted, with the radar he's built there in the middle of the map, he's scouted Polar's air, and so he's now adding in radar or crash downs.
But NuclearPizza has a little plan up his hand because he's building a land gantry, so that's either going to be a megalith at this point of time, would you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a megalith. He wouldn't be able to afford anything stronger. But I don't think he will be able to hold the line here. Those tanks are simply too much upgraded. He's going to try to buy time with those
point
air
defense,
units.
so that's good. That's quite useless.
Oh, that AA tower over there is going to completely trash that air ball. I don't think that experimental will ever see the light of day. Even if it does, even if it does, then Polarbear will be able to make research stations and teleport in and kill it. Yeah, Pizza knows he's lost. He says, meh, he's going to suicide his commander now.
Oh, Pizza's still trying to do little runarounds.
Yeah, I think he knows that there's very little he can do to win this game.
Unless he can shield his factories that he has and try and put PDs there, but they'll do quite a bit of damage to the attacking force, but probably not enough now.
He's making his experimental, and he is using his ACU to rush it out. Polarbear has probably seen that by now. He's just going to kill all of Pizza's structure, so even if the experimental gets out, he won't have any economy left.
No, but you
To
can
back
still
it up.
that could be sub true, but it'll still have the unit of the dead Aeon and the land factories that
No, it's pretty
NuclearPizza
much
has been.
that experimental. Even if half baked, it won't get out in time.
Nope. Polarbear is making sure that the land gantry is being killed at 50% production.
Bam.
And there goes the experimental. So NuclearPizza is pretty much dead, and he's now designed to suicide, which he has.
At least he kills all the tanks.
Polarbear wins.
Some explosion. I like to use the Ctrl U hotkeys to remove the overlays and then just watch the explosions at the end of the game when you know who's going to win anyways. It's very satisfying to watch a lot of stuff blow up. That's why